All right, folks. Mark here, cooking books, bringing info. So, real quick, I want to touch on some science, right? I want us to take a trip down Einstein's Boulevard, Niels Bohr's Avenue, Max Planck's Corner, Galileo's Expressway. I want us to travel a little bit back in time and reason and rhyme with some of these amazing minds. So I've done videos in the past about why it's so difficult to change and why it's so hard to change. Uh, I'm gonna touch on that again, but I want to back it up with some science. It is look, it's so important that we have a theological structure and a theological framework from which we can draw uh, conclusions and from which we can extrapolate certain principles and guidelines so that we can move forward as a people. So it's good to have a theological reference, frame of reference, or theological background or framework. But it is also vitally important that we have a scientifical, metaphysical, quantum mechanics uh, ideology and scientific community as to where we can also draw uh, principles and guidelines and structures on how to move forward as a people, as a race, as a nation. And science is very, very important. I'm a big fan. Okay, I'm a huge fan, a huge advocate, a huge supporter and belief in the sciences of the universe because, for one, again, I do have a theological background, and I stand on the theological doorsteps and pillows and so on and so forth. But again, why it's so important to have a scientific understanding is that because we're driven, most of our behavior, 90, if not a little bit under 80, 90% of our behavior is driven by the subconscious thinking. And the subconscious mind is what, again, governs all of our decisions. Now, inside of the subconscious laboratory, I like to use that term, within the subconscious laboratory, there's a mixture. A mixture is a chemistry or alchemical process or a chemistry class going on within the laboratory of the subconscious mind. What do I mean by that? Your frame of reference, which is a set of ideologies or ideas, beliefs, morals, values that you have acquired over your lifetime, is being amalgamated, is being combined, formulated, mixed within the subconscious mind. And is after the mixture, it is now being translated, transported, transmuted into what we call our reality. So your subconscious thinking is what creates everything in your life. Everything. Uh, what we call misfortune, bad luck, just, having a rough go, can't catch a break, woe is me. What we call, these happenings in our lives, misfortunes, and again, bad luck, are really and truly the byproducts or the products or the consequence, ramifications, results of the chemical cooking going on in the subconscious laboratory showing up in your everyday life, whether it's in your private, personal, business, or otherwise. So there is no such thing as bad luck. There is no such thing as serendipity, chance, random, this, that. No, everything is the output or the turnout of what's going on and being cooked up in the subconscious laboratory. Now, why is that important? That's so vitally important to understand is because Galileo purported what's called inertia or the passivity, inertial motion, the laws of inertia. Yes, inertial motion, inertial passivity, or just Newtonian laws of inertia, right? They all kind of touched on it, all these great minds. And what they postulated or put forth for consideration and for us to learn from, to look at, to observe, and to analyze, to assess, and put into practical use in our own lives is this: built into every matter, every property of protein, mass, whatever you want to call us, built into the fabric of our DNA, our wiring, our the bedrock and foundation of who we are, built in to that is what's called the laws of inertia. And inertia just simply means, in terms of science, a deacceleration of speed, right? A slowdown or a decrease in of acceleration. So, and to keep that even more simplify that, it just means uh, a resistance to a change of motion, a resistance to a change of thinking, a resistance to a change of being, a resistance to any kind of deviation from what you're normally used to doing. So anything that comes to alter your way of being as a 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, the older you are, the more the stronger inertia, the laws of inertia is on you as a species, as an object, as a person. The stronger will be the laws of inertia the older you get, because the older you get, the more time you have, and the arrows of time goes in one direction, and that direction carries with it what's called uh, a world line, which is a curvature, and that world line represents everything that you've experienced that is responsible for where you are and who you are today as a person. So, all that being said, and all that you have accumulated in your paradigm, which is your subconscious mind, which is the values, the ideas, and the mixture, the concoction of everything that's responsible for your judgments, your prejudice, your bias, your outview, your outlook, the way you see life, right? So, built into all of that is the laws of inertia. And again, inertia is a built in resistance to change. So, understanding these laws and understanding that these laws carry with them a force, and that force can be an attractive a repulsive, depending on the product of the force, right? Is it negative? Is it positive? And we all understand how these attract and how they repel. These laws, Coulomb's law. So you and I are going to have a very, very hard time changing, evolving, evolutionizing, revolutionizing ourselves uh, into our lower self, or alchemizing, right? Alchemy, that's the bedrock of alchemy. You and I are going to have a very difficult time alchemizing ourselves to a higher, nobler state because of the law of inertia. Now, if you don't understand the laws of inertia, you will never know why you can't stop doing what you do. You'll always think, oh, that's just who I am. That's just me. This is just the way I am. No, no, it's not. That is the biggest farce that can ever be propagated or broadcasted to the human mind. It is not just who you are. It is not, oh, that's just me. Accept it or leave it. Take it or leave it. That's just me. What you're saying, in effect, is I have stopped my development. This is where the buck stops here. My development as a species, as an up the evolutionary scale, has stopped on the fifth floor of evolution. That's it. That's what you're really saying. That's just me. This is where I stop. This is where the road ends in terms of evolving and developing and growth. I have reached to this level, and that is it. I do not want to go any higher. I don't want to be any better. I don't want to evolve anymore. I just want to stay where I am. And the laws shows you that it's impossible to stay where you are because of the laws of regression. What doesn't make progression actually goes into regression, right? So there is no staying at a constancy. You cannot stay at a constancy. I've reached the 10th floor of evolution, and this is where I'm going to stop because of the laws of regression, right? What doesn't progress, regress. This is the laws, right? So it's vitally important for us to have some scientific understanding and to be able to apply. The applicability of the scientific knowledge to our physical world and our physical selves will make us astoundingly and astonishingly stupendous. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.